In a beautiful and peaceful land, there were an ideal palace court. But the Sultan and his wife were grieving for only one thing. They couldn't have any children in any way. Whatever they did, they couldn't have a child that would continue the lineage and lead the land. One day, an old, white and long-bearded, wise-looking man came to the palace as a guest. The Sultan liked the man very much and kept him for dinner. After the meal, the bearded old man said,
"I think you don't have any hope."
The Sultan immediately threw.
There is more than infinite opportunities on our land. What do you want?
He said.
No!
The old man said.
I didn't mean that. I think you don't have a children. I want to underline that.
The Sultan and his wife started to cry. We wanted to have one so much, but it didn't happen, they said.
Well, I will show you a way. If you do what I say, you will have a child. There's a river on the top of the mountain, at the far end of the country. On the night when spring is connecting to summer, in the morning, after entering the river naked and washing, whatever is good, let it be.
After the old man had said these things, he retired to his room, and the next morning he left the palace without being seen by anyone. The Sultan and his wife set out with a large crowd, entered the spring at the head of the mountain, bathed, and then retreated to their tents and got into their beds. The Sultan's wife said, "Allah, give us a son, no matter how you give it." That night, the Sultan's wife got pregnant. It's been 9 months since that magical case. It was finally the time for the birth. But the Sultan couldn't give birth anyway. They called the most famous midwives of the country to the palace, and no matter what they did, they could not deliver the Sultan's wife. The Sultan was so sad and made an announcement saying that
Any woman in our land that will deliver our baby will get a great award. I call upon all the talented midwives to come to our palace and at least give it a try.
during those times there was a very beautiful and very poor young girl who lived with her father and stepmother in the city. Hearing that the Sultan could not give birth, the stepmother asked her stepdaughter opinion about trying to deliver the child of Sultan. The poor young lady was very excited and motivated to give it a try. After talking with young girl, stepmother decided to go to the palace and advise them about her stepdaughter. The girl was glad that she was going to the palace, but because she was a little nervous, she went right to her mother, who passed away gray, and asked her mother for advice.
Mother, the Sultan called me to deliver the Sultan that no midwife could deliver. It's time for me to show my talent.
While the girl was waiting there thinking how she would deliver the child, an old and wise man came to the grave.
Calm down.
He said,
I will tell you what to do. The Sultan's wife didn't keep what I said. Instead of asking for the best, she prayed to Allah, as no matter what. That's why she is carrying a snake in her stomach instead of a son. Now, when you go to the palace, you will immediately ask for a cauldron of milk. You will place the milk between the Sultan's wife's legs, and the snake that smells milk will come out.
The girl went to the palace, did what the old man said. Indeed, the Sultan gave birth to a huge black snake. They immediately informed the Sultan. Sultan's wives cried, "What are we going to do? They've been struggling for a while." In the end, Sultan and his wife both said, "A son is a son, no matter what it is." And they placed the snake in one of the back rooms of the palace without showing it to anyone. And in the country they said, "The Sultan has had a son." They made all the festivities. Years passed decently. The snake prince, left in the back room, grew up. One day, he sent word to his father.
I once get smelly its nose.
What should the Sultan do? His one and only child. He wanted the daughter of one of the viziers for his son. The wedding was held. They put the snake and the girl in the wedding. The next morning, they opened the door, and the girl's body was lying in a corner. The snake stung the girl and killed her. Prince married the daughter of another vizier, and he stung and killed her too. After the girls in the palace died one by one, he started to marrying girls from the people. Those girls also died. The people did not know that the prince was a snake, but it spread in the country where all the girls who married the prince died. Everyone was trying to smuggle their daughter out of the country. After that, Sultan announced that he will give a large share of his treasure to a woman who could be a wife to his son, Snake Prince. The girl's stepmother was also poor. Although she does not want her daughter to go, the girl does not want to leave her stepmother poor in this situation because the person who has always been with her since her birth family died is her stepmother. Although the woman begs, the girl is determined and persuades her stepmother and sends her to the palace to inform. After her stepmother informed the palace that her stepdaughter is determined, poor young lady went to her mother's grave again, just before going to the palace. While she was thinking by his mother's grave, the old man with the white beard appeared again and started to explain the actual story. He said,
"The prince dressed as a snake is actually a very handsome young man. If you do what I say, you will turn into a human being. You will lead a very happy life."
What am I supposed to do then?
the girl asked. The old man also told.
"When they put you in the same room with him, you will put 40 shirts on. When you enter there, the snake says to you, 'Undress.' He will say, 'You are going to take off your one shirt.' Then you will tell him, 'You undress, Mr. Snake.' He will take one of his skins off. Then he will tell you again, 'Peel it off.' After you take off your second shirt again, you will say to him, 'You also take off your clothes, Mrs. Snake.' Like this, you will make him take off his 30 skins as well. After removing his 40th skin, the prince will turn into a handsome young man."
After that, the girl prepared herself and they took her to the palace. The wedding took place. Then he said to the girl, "You will go next to him," they said. And the girl, as the old man said, dressed herself in 40 shirts. Everything happened as the old man said. A girl took off her shirt, a snake took off his skin. They undressed together. Finally, after the 40th skin, Prince Snake became a very handsome young man. The two of them lived happily for many years.